Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous to make this video. I guess because it could just be considered like controversial. But basically I'm gonna be talking about Weight Watchers. So there might be some of you out there who have had a positive experience with Weight Watchers and you've gotten value from it, maybe even beyond weight loss. And here's the thing, I would have never made this video before because you're an adult, you do you want to go to Weight Watchers, that's your life. Yeah, so that's just kind of how I felt about it before. But very recently, I believe it was last week, Weight Watchers announced that they are going to be offering a free 6-week long Weight Watchers program this summer for teens aged 13 to 17. Now, I never really had a reason to speak out before, again, because I said, yeah, you're an adult, you do you. But when you get teenagers involved, I got a problem with that. Some people may initially, view this as a positive, that's great. They're teaching teenagers how to watch their weight and, be healthy in their formidable years as they're growing up and learning how to be an adult. But it's not at all. Giving teenagers access to a free diet program, completely free of charge, and you may not view it as a diet, but we'll get there. It's actually like playing with fire, and it is so not okay. So before I dive a little bit deeper into, why that is and the research and everything like that, first let me just kind of talk about, there's tons of dieting companies out there. Weight Watchers is the leading company in the industry, but there's tons of them out there because it is a humongous billions on billions of dollar industry. So I don't know, 10 years ago plus, these companies, their revenues were soaring. They had so many, they had this loyal customer fan base, all these people on diets, right? Because dieting was just the thing to do. But over the last few, 5+ years or so, people started getting wise and realizing, hey, this whole dieting thing doesn't really work. I'm still the same weight or higher than I was when I originally started because I just keep fluctuating and it's just not really working and I'm kind of miserable. And this message of, hey, diets, they don't work. They just don't work, has slowly crawling and been getting out there. And now even more so in 2018, it is for sure getting out there even more, thank God. But yeah, people are waking up and they're realizing, okay, these programs don't work. They're just taking my money and I'm not a happier or healthier person. So guess what? All these companies, their sales have been going down the tubes. They have been losing so much money. Their revenues have been steadily going down. So what did these companies do? Because this isn't like some random niche market. This is, I'm talking huge, major conglomerate companies that make billions of dollars every single year. So, if you're the CEO of that, and this is your life and your baby, you're gonna go, okay, well, what the heck do? I obviously gotta do something to get people back on the dieting bandwagon because that's my whole business. So what are they gonna do when people are stopped, they lose interest in diets? They're going to reinvent themselves as a healthy lifestyle. Weight Watchers being one of them. Like I said, they are the industry leader in the diet industry, and they've come out with this huge new lifestyle launch, this brand new program where all the stuff is 0 points now, and it's this big freestyle thing, and they're completely reinventing their company as this health and wellness lifestyle company. It has nothing to do with your health. It really doesn't. It has everything to do with their bottom line and them creating customers that are going to be loyal and keep coming back, and therefore they need to get those customers back on diets. But they're just going to dress it up as this fancy, sustainable lifestyle that's so free because that's attractive and that's sexy and that's what people want. But people still want to lose weight, and the only way to lose weight is to restrict your intake, aka go on a diet. So you know what? That's all fine and good. Diet culture is still very prevalent. It honestly doesn't surprise me. It is what it is. I'm just going to keep preaching intuitive eating because that's what I feel is the healthiest. So whatever, But they're not just stopping at reinventing themselves. They are bringing in the big guns. And by the big guns, I mean they are targeting teenagers. They are going to get teenagers hooked on them because teenagers are young and they are body conscious and they are looking for a way to change their bodies. And they know that if they can get them yo-yo dieting on Weight Watchers, because it is a diet, they are going to be such a loyal customer base. And guess what? Their revenue is going up. So why is this really a problem, Becca? I mean, there's tons of teens out there who are overweight and don't know how to be healthy, and maybe this could be a really good thing for them to get on the right track when they're still young and, still have plenty of life to live and can get healthy. Why is this a problem? Because Weight Watchers is, at the end of the day, it is absolutely 100% a diet. I don't care how much they market this as a lifestyle or how many things they make 0 points. At the end of the day, the heart of Weight Watchers is to lose weight. It is to watch your weight. That is the main goal of the program, is to reduce your weight and the size of your body. When you teach people how to restrict your intake with the end goal of weight loss or a thinner, smaller body, that's a diet. That is going on a diet. Whether you are teaching them how to do so with points, so that they can eat within their points so that they stay within their restricted intake and that's how they get the weight loss, or whether it's calorie counting, or whether it's a meal plan, whatever it is, it's still going on a diet. And not only is it, giving you points so that you restrict your intake and therefore lose weight, it's also sending a message that your body is a problem. And it's something that needs to be intervened on and something that needs to be fixed. And again, that is like diet culture's #1 message that they are putting out there all the time, that there is something wrong with your body and it needs to be tighter, or it needs to be thinner, or it needs to be more toned, or yada, yada, yada. That is diet culture in a nutshell. So again, Weight Watchers, it's a diet. And hey, guess what doesn't work? How many times have I said this here on my channel? Diets don't work. In fact, 90 to 95% of people who go on weight loss diets or journeys or whatever you want to call it, 90 to 95% of them, in the end, they fail. Because guess what? They gain all the weight back, and a lot of times they end up gaining even more weight than they even had to begin with. So therefore, they're failures, and that, magical 5 to 10% that must have willpower of steel and care about their health more than anyone else, how are they maintaining that weight loss long term? They have disordered eating patterns or full-blown eating disorders most of the time. So either way, whether you're in the 90 to 95% of failures, or you're in the 5 to 10% of, people who have success through an eating disorder, either way, you're still losing. Sounds pretty awful, right? Well, when you're a teenager, it is especially awful and just setting you up for anything but success. If you actually look at the research and studies that have been done, you will know that adolescents that partake in or have weight control behaviors imposed on them, or some kind of diet imposed on them, they end up actually gaining more weight in the future than those teenagers that had no intervention, that were just left to their own devices, not messed with and not put on any kind of diet. So no matter what weight those teenagers started with, whether it was high or low, those teenagers that were not put on diets had a steady, happy weight. Those that were put on diets ended up gaining more weight in the future than they even had to begin with. So when we impose weight loss diets on teens, or encourage teens to go on weight loss diets, however that may happen, it actually can promote weight gain, which is clearly the opposite from what we want to happen, and it's just going to make matters worse. So not only can it promote weight gain in the future, but it's gonna mess with that poor teen's ability to regulate themselves, because you're giving them outside tools to use in order to, manipulate their weight. And we all know that diets don't work, so those outside tools that they're given and told are going to be their ticket to health, when they don't work, that just completely messes with their poor, fragile brain. And also, like I said earlier, it's just spreading that message to an even younger, more delicate generation that their bodies are problems and that they need to be fixed, and their bodies are not just okay, the way that they were born and the way that they were made. And guys, that is not it. It gets worse. When we put teens on diets, diet being defined as restricting intake with the end goal of weight loss, it is one of the biggest predictors for developing eating disorders. And guess what? Eating disorders have the highest mortality rate of any mental illness. Let that sink in. And that is obviously just not healthy. And I'm sure there are so many parents out there who just, want to help their kids. Like, obviously they don't want to cause any harm. They just want to help them to eat better and to take care of themselves and to not be overweight and all of that. And this might seem like a really good option, it's free of charge, it's in the summer when they have plenty of time off and can dedicate to it, and it could really give them like that healthy jump start that they need. But now it just is going to make them worse off, because it is a diet. And it's just crazy to think that, we've created this problem, right, with weight stigma, that higher weights are wrong and they must be therefore fixed and brought down. And by trying to fix this problem that we've all created, we send them potentially down this just downward spiral of gaining more weight in the future that they never had to begin with, you know, and they never would have had, likely, if they didn't start dieting at a young age. And also potentially giving them an eating disorder, which is the highest mortality rate of mental illnesses. I mean, that is just setting them up for potential disaster. And like I said, it is playing with fire. We cannot fight biology. Bodies that are starving, they've got to be nourished, and eventually they will make sure that they get nourished. We cannot eradicate this, you know, innate need to survive, and food and bringing in energy is a huge part of survival. So we are never going to be able, as much as we try with willpower of steel and self-control beyond belief and whatever program that's new and hot and sexy and lifestyle, we are never going to be able to dwell in a state of starvation or decreased intake so that we can maintain a lower weight, unless we develop some kind of eating disorder, which again, not healthy. It's just never going to work. In fact, when you are on a diet and you are restricting your intake, guess what? Your body is going to actively work against you, because it is going to make you hyper aware of food. It is going to make your cravings stronger. It's going to make you have so many more thoughts of food than you ever had before you were on a diet. And it's not just because you're weak and because diets are hard and weight loss is hard. That is literally your body working against you and your stupid diet that doesn't work. And it's screaming at you, it's telling you it's hungry, it wants food, it wants to survive and it wants to thrive, and you need food in order to do that. It makes me so angry that Weight Watchers is doing this. And I'm not even a parent yet, but this fires me up, because either A, Weight Watchers has never even looked at the research and doesn't understand what they're doing, potentially the harm they're putting on these teenagers by doing this, and just thought it was a great idea. Or they've seen the research and they know very well that by getting these teens hooked early and targeting them, they're going to get such loyal customers, because those teens are gonna lose just enough weight to feel good and then gain it back plus some. And guess what? They're gonna do it again. They're gonna be customers for life, because they're gonna get on the yo-yo dieting bandwagon. Because what happens when you fail on a diet, fail quote unquote, and you gain the weight back because your body literally forces it to happen because #biology? The only solution in your mind is just to try harder next time. Try harder. You can do it. A little more willpower, a little more, planning ahead of time. You can do it. You can totally do it. You can absolutely lose that weight and keep it off. No, you can't. We have a major stigma against people in higher weight or larger bodies, and we have been taught to just ceaselessly and relentlessly pursue a lower weight body across our whole lifetime, no matter what the cost. It's always going to boomerang back. You're always going to end up back where you started, or even higher, unless you develop an eating disorder. But we are still taught that it's healthier to pursue that keep on going. You can do it this time, even though you can't. And in the meantime, your physical and mental, emotional health can be just disintegrating away. But once you get to that lower weight, you're in a lower BMI, range, you did it. You're so healthy now. I mean, come on. Newsflash, fat people can be healthy. I know that's tough to accept. It's not something that is permeated or even accepted. In fact, it is really wholeheartedly rejected in our society. But it's the truth. Fat people can be healthy. It doesn't always have to be about decreasing your weight. It doesn't, because a lot of times the actions we take to decrease that weight in, for the sake of health can make us so much more unhealthy, both physically, but especially mentally. And look, I totally get that we should be teaching teens and encouraging them to eat healthy and to be active and to, build the foundation for a healthy lifestyle. I totally get it, because teenagers aren't thinking about, their health when they're 50, 60 plus. No, they're invincible. Nothing bad is ever going to happen to them. They're a teenager. Their brain isn't fully developed. I mean, left to their own devices, they'd probably eat Cheetos and Chipwiches and soda all day. That is, if they haven't gotten the diet messages that make them fear those foods because they'll get fat. So yeah, I totally get, we should be encouraging them and teaching them, because being healthy is important. It is absolutely important. I'm not saying just toss health out the window. Absolutely not. But when we try and teach this message and encourage teens to be healthy under the guise or along with the end goal of weight loss, it doesn't work. It's just going to backfire. It is not going to help them be a healthy, happy person throughout their lifetime. It is not going to give them a healthy relationship with food. I mean, can you name one person that has happened to them as a result of dieting over and over? Putting teens on diets is not the answer. In fact, it's the problem. We need to stop permeating diets as a solution because, as we've said over and over in this video, diets don't work. They're always going to boomerang, they're always going to rebound, they do not work, and that is why the diet industry makes so much money, because people keep on coming back for more and more and more because it didn't work the first and the second and the third time and the fourth time around, but each time they are renewed with hope that they can do it and they're going to fight biology this time and they're going to keep the weight off when we all know they're not. So yeah, diets, they don't work, especially for teens. Weight Watchers, I see you. I see what you're doing. It's wrong. It has nothing to do with health and everything to do with this. I mean, Oprah, of all people, come on. Wake up, Weight Watchers.